Good evening. I'm Gary Franchi, Next News Network Chief White House Correspondent, bringing you the latest White House news from the past 24 hours in partnership with our streaming ally, Trump Daily Post. Tonight, the focus is unmistakable. President Trump used the Oval Office to press forward on border security, customs enforcement, federal accountability, and law and order, while also signaling continued movement in Iran talks. The biggest action came this afternoon with two executive orders and a renewed public safety push that the administration is presenting as more America First follow-through. From the Pool report, Assistant to the President Will Scharf, he presented two executive orders to President Trump in the Oval. One order strengthens customs enforcement by tightening cargo reporting and targeted contraband, illegal goods, and duty and tariff evasion. The second order addresses personnel management and policymaking roles inside the federal government, aiming to make discipline and promotion decisions more effective in positions that shape administrative policy. The White House said that the president signed the executive order strengthening customs enforcement nationwide. The order directs the Secretary of Homeland Security to revise importer eligibility regulations within 180 days, require importers of record to maintain tangible domestic assets or bonding, provide more data to Customs and Border Protection, and prohibit foreign importers of record from filing informal entries. The administration says the goal is to close loopholes, protect lawful trade, promote transparency, and safeguard the domestic economy and American consumers. Now, the broader White House message today was that President Trump is preparing tougher customs rules with wider accountability push in Washington and a law and order push in the American cities. The administration is also highlighting a Department of Justice Models City initiative with $300 million in grants for a small number of cities willing to partner across local government to reduce violent crime, hire police, improve training and body camera use, support victims, and modernize public safety infrastructure. Applications are now open with a first phase deadline of September. And from the Pool report, the press pool was called into the Oval shortly before 4 p.m. after the White House had kept the event details tightly held during the day. Moments later, the Pool reported that President Trump was speaking from the Resolute desk. The Pool note said that the topic included the reflecting pool, though fuller details were still developing at that moment. Now, also from the Pool reports, the president addressed reporters, discussed Iran negotiations, saying that progress was and that a deal could potentially come by the weekend. He also said he would need to consult legal advisors on the status of the weaponization fund. And the Pool additionally noted that sharp criticism from the president directed at CNN and Caitlin Collins during a tense exchange. In a later Pool report with more of the president's remarks, President Trump said that the weaponization fund had been dropped following a ruling from what he called a radical left judge. On Iran, he said negotiations were continuing and stressed that any more memorandum of understanding meant Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. He also said the United States had carried out strikes on Iran, that Iran had struck Kuwait, that America's support had been crucial to Israel's efforts, and that he had spoken with Hezbollah in an effort to stop hostilities in Lebanon. Now, earlier in the day, according to the Pool report, correspondents were told that there were no public action came under Oval Office developments. Also from the Pool, there was just a simple routine lunch late. It was called about 1 o'clock. No expected announcements during that period. And according to the daily guidance, President Trump's day did begin with some executive time around 8 a.m., followed by Oval Office policy meetings at 11 and 2 p.m., and the 3 p.m. executive order signing, an additional 4:30 p.m. policy meeting, and a 7 p.m. Rose Garden Club dinner. All events were listed as closed press, and the in-town Pool call time was this morning, 9 a.m. A later Pool note then announced a routine dinner late until 6:30, signaling no further expected public updates before the evening schedule resumed. One Pool transmission circulated additional Iran, Israel, and weaponization fund quotes from the president, reinforcing that foreign policy remained part of the Oval Office question and answer session. Another Pool report described remarks at the Oval Office event referenced comments from Rodney Scott and Peter Navarro about a coming customs order. As with all fast-moving Pool notes, those details are best read alongside the official White House materials that were issued afterwards. But a final Pool note said The Oval Office event ended at 4:39 p.m. after the president took several questions and the press pool was escorted out. So over the past 24 hours, the clearest takeaway is that this administration stayed active on the core priorities President Trump campaigned on: stronger enforcement at the border and ports of entry, more accountability inside the federal bureaucracy, continued pressure abroad, and a renewed emphasis on public safety right here at home. That's the latest on the White House Daily Rundown.